Hello everybody, welcome back to Jared Opens a Box here on Jared Takes the L, and this is a pretty cool episode I have for you guys here today. We're doing some pops that never been done here on the channel before. We really haven't done much. Obviously we've done a lot of Marvel pops before, but this specific Marvel group we haven't really done much of. We've done certain characters here or there, but never really a video solely based on this particular franchise in Marvel. So I'm really excited about this one. We are going to be taking a look at some pops from the X-Men. So yeah, this is really cool. This is from a particular X-Men storyline, particularly called The Age of Apocalypse, which if you've been a comic fan for quite a while, I'm sure that name has probably at least come up a couple of times as one of the more popular Marvel Comics storylines. So yeah, I think this will be really, really cool. Also, I'm sorry if you do hear a little bit of background noise. One of the cats is playing with a toy over there, so you might hear a little bit of noise in the background there. But you know, gotta keep them preoccupied, I guess, right? But yeah, there's three pops that were in this particular wave. So let's go ahead and get started with the first one, which is Blink. And I think Blink is awesome. Definitely one of the more underrated characters from the X-Men. So I thought it was really cool when Funko actually made this pop. It's pop number 1458 of the Marvel line. The box is pretty much just the same, comic background that they usually do with these. Of course, it does say X-Men at the top rather than just Marvel, but other than that, box is pretty much the same as your generic Marvel pops. So nothing really else to say there. So let's go ahead and open this one up. Alright, this one looks pretty cool. Maybe. There we go. This one actually looks really cool. So here is Blink. I think this one came out looking really, really nice. I love the purple hair. I think that came out really cool in the pop. Kind of like some, what color? Like teal eyes, maybe? Or like a lime? I don't really know what you would consider that. But that looks really cool, as does the, I guess, the makeup kind of surrounding the eyes or the markings there, which looks really, really cool. She has the green dress, and I guess she's coming out of a portal right here, because I think that's one of Blink's abilities, is to create portals and stuff like that. So that's really cool that they have her coming out of one of those. Of course, being held up by a stand as well, because I don't really know how else this would have worked. And she has some energy, I guess, energy daggers in her hand as well. So yeah, this one looks really, really cool. I think Funko did a great job on this one. I especially like the detail of, her coming out of the portal. Even her foot, they even show that because one of her feet hasn't even fully come out of the portal yet. So I think that's really cool. But yeah, there is Blink. This is a really cool pop. I would say Blink, probably out of these three, probably the one I know the least about, but I still know, enough to collect it. And I know she was in one of the movies too. I think it was Days of Future Past, I believe she was in. So yeah, that's really, really cool. Of course, there was a movie with Apocalypse in it as well. It was just called X-Men Apocalypse. I don't really remember that one too much. I don't think it was terribly good. It's definitely not one of Oscar Isaac's best superhero roles. I think that one would probably go more for Moon Knight or Spider-Man 2099. But, X-Men movies are hit or miss. Anyways, our next one that we're going to be taking a look at, again, we're going a little bit out of order here, but I just figured this made the most sense. We are taking a look at Sunfire. And honestly, Sunfire is one of the X-Men, one of the coolest designs, in my personal opinion, out of all of the X-Men. So when I saw they made this one, I was like, yes. And they made it with this particular design, because this is the design that I remembered, and I was like, that's perfect. What a cool design off the bat. This is pop number 1460. There is the side of the box, the back of the box, and then the other side. So let's go ahead and open this one up. All right. So here is this one. Oh, and that's actually really cool. It actually is translucent. Wow, that's a really cool detail. So obviously most of Sunfire's head is fire, as you can see. kind of reminiscent of the Human Torch pops that we've seen on the channel here or there. Then he has this part, kind of looks like a mask, which is mostly white except for the little bit of red there. And then, of course, these little, I guess that would be the eyes right there, but that's also part of the fire, which looks awesome. I seriously think this looks so cool. And then the body itself is also pretty translucent. It does have a little bit of black on there as well, but it's mostly translucent. I'm sure you guys can probably see that. And just like Blink, they also gave Sunfire a base or a stand here since he is supposed to be flying here. But yeah, this looks really, really cool. I think this is, honestly, man, this is definitely a contender for one of my favorite pops of the year so far. I think Funko absolutely nailed it. Like I said, I've always thought this particular design of Sunfire is really, really good. And this pop kind of just reinforces that idea for me. Because, I mean, honestly, like, it's not even a complicated design, but man, it really looks awesome. So there is Sunfire. That one, really, really cool. All right, and now it's time for our last pop, and I'm sure you guys know exactly which one this is. We've been talking about the Age of Apocalypse and Apocalypse this and Apocalypse that with the movies and everything. So now it's time to take a look at Apocalypse himself. This is surprisingly enough the very first Apocalypse Funko Pop. I don't know how that's possible. I really thought they would have made him at some point, but I'm pretty sure they haven't. I'm almost positive that this is the very first one. If I'm wrong, definitely let me know. But as far as I can remember, I don't think they've made one before. So this is a first, and it's kind of crazy it took them this long. But this is pop number 1459. So again, slightly out of order. I'm sorry. But there is the side of the box, back of the box, and the other side. And there's the Age of Apocalypse logo. I didn't mention that. They did put that back there, but all right. So here is Apocalypse. And now this design, so this isn't the design that I really remember much of Apocalypse. I know this is the one from the comics. The one that I remember actually comes from, like, the video games. Like, the Marvel, or no, it wasn't Marvel vs. Capcom, but I think it was one of the X-Men fighting games where he's like the all blue design. That's the one I was thinking of. I guess this makes a lot more sense since they're going more for the comics. This is kind of more based on his classic look. But yeah, this one looks awesome. Obviously, he still has this like blue helmet looking thing here. He has the red eyes, the ominous red eyes there. They did give him a little bit of a mouth. They even gave him a little nose and these these frowny eyebrows or whatnot there. They have him in the arms folded pose. He's got, the suit has a lot of red and blue. You would think it was like a Superman kind of thing. Then they also gave him a cape, so that's awesome. But yeah, this one, I don't know, this one looks really, really cool too. I really like, I've always thought Apocalypse is one of the cooler Marvel villains, so finally getting a pop of him I think is awesome. I'm happy they went with the comics one, honestly, because since the other two are also based on the comics, it would only make sense. But I know a lot of people are going to be happy about Apocalypse finally getting something here. And I do think, truthfully, that once the X-Men fully show up in the MCU, which they kind of already are in Doomsday next year, but once they get their own movies and stuff, I think Apocalypse would be a really good villain for them. I wouldn't start off with him, but I think they could build up to him a little bit better than the Fox movies did, because I just think he's such a cool villain. I don't want him to be wasted on just that one movie. I think it'd be awesome to bring him back at some point. But yeah, here's Apocalypse. Again, I think Funko nailed it with not just him, but with this whole wave. I mean, seriously, these all came out looking really, really cool. I really like Blink. I like the portal and just the design overall. Same with Sunfire. Great design, great pop. Apocalypse, kind of the same way. I guess they're all going to get 10 out of 10. I don't really see any flaws with any of them. I think they all came out looking really, really nice. We've had a lot of good pops recently, you know. I think I gave a 10 out of 10 to the one last week, too. There's been a lot of really, really good ones. Based on what I've seen for next week and even the week after that, I have a feeling that trend is going to continue. So, but yeah, let me know down below which of these is your favorite. I'll go through them one more time. We have Blink, Sunfire, and Apocalypse. So yeah, let me know, guys, down below which of these is your favorite. When we come back next week, we are going to be taking a look at one of the newer waves of Pokemon Pops. There's been a ton of them recently, so I'm already very far behind, but we're going to be taking a look at some next week. And yeah, I guess that does it, guys. Thank you so much for watching. As always, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next one. Peace out, everybody.